with some new additions. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about the pattern, which is probably the most loved pattern. Is one of my best patterns that crocheters just love, and I'm not bragging. This is just the statistics that I have from my website and from the pattern sales. So this one in particular seemed to be liked by crocheters, and that's my Lilly blanket. So the pattern was initially published in Happily Hooked magazine, which was an online, it was in print at one point as well, but then became online only magazine, and this was one of the commissions for the magazine, and it was one of my older patterns. So I was at the beginning of my designer journey, so I was really overjoyed that it got accepted for the publication. And honestly, that pattern took me about 2 or 3 days design and 2 or 3 days to make. The idea just came to me and it just worked out perfectly. It was one of those patterns which were flawless to design. I didn't have really struggled in terms of the sizing and the colors, anything. Things just really kind of worked out together as I was designing it, and then when I was making it, because it's worked in quite thick yarn, is a chunky yarn from Sheep Cheese, Chunky Monkey, it just seemed to be flying off my hook. So some of my designs I worked on for weeks, and I had to do 2 weeks, and the shaping wouldn't work. I have to do redo lots of the elements, or the yarn wasn't working, or I didn't really enjoy making the sample. But this design was just kind of flawless, and the first time I posted pictures of that on Instagram, that was the time when I seemed to be getting like the most engagement. So I kind of had a little bit of feeling that it might be liked by crocheters, and once I republished it, it's the design that brings the most visitors back to my blog. As I mentioned, it's the pattern that is most liked because I get the most sales on Ravelry from it, and I love crafts as well. So I really like the blanket. My kids absolutely love it as well. So this is one of the samples that I actually kept, because I've designed quite lots of blankets and throws, and over the years they just kind of accumulated. So I tried to give some samples to charity. I just gave them away to friends if they were particularly interested in a family specific blanket. But this one is the one that is really loved by my family and seemed to be almost by everyone. So that was the Throwback pattern. So it's really simple. It's just worked in Tunisian simple stitch, and there is a little bit of color work when we are changing color on the forward and return pass, and together it creates this gingham stitch pattern. And there isn't actually a lot of ends to weave in as well, because the way it works, you can probably see it at the back, you basically carry the colors along the edges, inner edges, as you are working the pattern. So you know, lots of the time with color work we enjoy doing it. If you do enjoy the specific pattern, or you just enjoy the final result, and you just put up with the fact that you have to weave in so many ends. But with this one, you only have to weave in the ends where you actually run out of the yarn ball, where you need to actually join a new yarn ball to the existing colors. So it seems to be like it's one of those patterns that just work out without any issues. Okay, so that's my Throwback Thursday. So I just want to thank all of my followers for downloading the Keziah headband or ear warmer. So it was a free, it's still a free pattern on my blog. So if you're interested in learning traveling cables in Tunisian crochet, go ahead and have a look at my blog. It was a free download for 24 hours as well, as part of the gift extravaganza blog hop organized by Mary Segares from Underground Crafter. So, and I was astonished because there was hundreds and hundreds of downloads. So I'm hoping that they will be now popping up all over the social media, and hopefully the crocheters will tag me when they make their own samples. I've also just published today another additional tutorial because I got a feedback from some crocheters that were new to Tunisian crochet cables, that they weren't really sure how to work certain elements of the cable. So I've got another tutorial published today. So that's news, and there's another pattern, really quick one, which is a perfect gift. And this time, as you can see, probably this is knitting. So I've got a new pattern for knitters. I haven't published knitting patterns for months and months now, so it's a very quick one. You can make the ear warmer in about evening or two if you're a fast knitter. If not, like me, it took me I think 3 evenings. You will need less than 50 grams of DK weight yarn and 4mm knitting needles, and that's it. And this will also be a free PDF download, so I'm going to post about it on all over my social media accounts, so watch the space. It will be a little bit later in December, so you'll be able to get hands of this one as well. And again, if you are beginner knitter, this is a great introduction to cables. It's very easy, few row repeat, so you can kind of memorize it easily as well. You don't always have to look back into the knitting pattern. And I've actually got another one on the needles because, as usual, I make a sample and then one of my kids come and say they would like their own. So I'm working on one for my daughter as well. So that's that. And what else is new? Okay, I've finished watching the Game of Wool part 2 and the drama of the Game of Wool continues. There's so many oh, hi Patricia. Thank you very much. She says she loves the color. Thank you very much. Amazing. Okay, so the drama continues. There seem to be more and more revolving issues around the first episode, so we can just watch and we will really see that I feel like lots of people had a misconception about knitting. It's just, you know, for these old grannies, for these old ladies, they just get together in their little knitting circle and, you know, they're like meek and mild and mellow. But actually it seems like knitters like to stand their ground too, and they like to put their point forward when something is not quite right when it comes to the craft. So we will see how that is going to continue. I did enjoy the second part. As I mentioned last time in my live, I felt like the projects were too big for the time frame that they are given, the knitters are given. So this time around, they were working on smaller projects, and they also had a project where they split the elements. So this was a sweater they had to design, and they knitters in the groups, they split the different parts, the front, back and sleeves amongst themselves. So I felt like this was more manageable and there was a lot more skill that you can see rather than just racing against the time. And I felt like this was a little bit more appropriate for the craft, you know. But I still feel like the time frame that the knitters are given, which is usually 10 or 12 hours, it's still quite tight. And if you really want to kind of work on it as a piece of art and piece of you know, it's craft, you really need more time. You can't really kind of race to the specific deadline, but still there are some beautiful pieces. I really enjoyed it, so I'm actually quite looking forward to the third part when it comes out on the weekend. So let's see, and I'll update you on my thoughts about this next week. Okay, so that's it for today, for this Throwback Thursday and some other bits. I'm hoping that you have a lovely rest of the evening, at least if you are based in the UK and any other part elsewhere in the world. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.